Have you ever looked at the guitar fretboard and felt like it's a bit of a cryptic maze of hidden patterns? Well, good news is today I'm going to demystify the fretboard for you, and by the end of this video, the fretboard won't be just a confusing maze, but instead it will be a clearly mapped territory where you can let your creativity roam freely without the fear of getting lost or making mistakes and sounding like an amateur. So before we kick things off, let me ask you a quick question. Can you name all the notes on a single string? Because that really is the foundation of what we're going to be looking at today, and knowing the names of the notes and the order in which they appear in is not just guitar specific, but it's actually the basics of music. Now, if you don't know your notes on the guitar, let's quickly go over that. You can think of it like this. The white keys on a piano, those are all of your natural notes, and it's like the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if I play that on the guitar, those are all of your natural notes, all the white notes on the piano. But of course, there's 5 black keys as well, and those are the sharps and flats, which are also known as accidentals, and we find them in between the natural notes on the piano. So all of your white keys will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A, and then a sharp works like this. If I have a D note over here, a sharp is going to raise the pitch of that note with 1 semitone, which will give me D sharp, or a flat will lower the pitch of a note with 1 semitone. So that's what the black notes on the piano does to a note. It basically raises it with a semitone, which makes it a sharp, or it lowers it with a semitone. But you'll notice that between B and C on the piano and E and F, there are no black keys, which that basically means that there's no sharps or flats in between B and C and E and F. So therefore, you can now know what all the notes are on the guitar. So we have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and A. So A to A is an octave. All right, so now that you know the names of those notes, you can also pause the screen, you can see them in front of you. Let's go ahead and dig into the meat of today's lesson. And first, we're going to be delving into what I call pitch distance. Now, pitch distance is the difference in pitch between 2 notes. So for example, if I take A, and the note right next to A is A sharp, that's going to be a small distance. Every time A to A sharp, it's a small distance. It's the smallest distance that we get in Western music, which is known as a semitone, right? It's a semitone. It's 1 note to the very next note on the piano, or 1 fret to the very next fret on the guitar. So that's a small distance in pitch. But if I go from A to A, or A to that A, now the distance becomes a lot bigger, and you can see that an octave, as the word suggests, it's 8 letter names apart. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. An octave is going to be a very big sound like that. So on the piano, it's super visual. You can go from left to right. If you go right from 1 note to the right-hand side, your pitch is going to ascend. And if you go from 1 note to the left-hand side, your pitch is going to descend. And we have the same on the guitar. Up and down. But here's the thing, with the guitar, things are a little bit more intricate, because that same pitch distance that I've just mentioned, like let's just say the octave, it can appear differently on our fretboard, meaning that the physical distance and the pitch distance won't always match up. For instance, if I look at an octave on the guitar, and let's in this case play C to C. If I go from this C to that C an octave higher, we can see that this is the physical distance. I can meet that in inches or centimeters, and then I'm going to get this distance in front of me. But this note, these 2 notes, can also be played like that. So if I play C to C like this, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, can be played like that. So this is a small distance, but it's still the pitch distance of an octave. But there it's a big distance, yet it's the same pitch distance. So the point you want to take away from this is, while the space between your notes might change, the pitch distance remains consistent. And that's really the first big curveball on the guitar. Not only do we not have black and white notes like we do on a piano, we also have the same note in different places. For example, this E note only exists on one place on the piano. If you play another E above or below, it's going to be a different octave. It's going to be different octaves of the E note. But on the guitar, I can have the E note here, there, 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 and if I had 24 frets, I'd get it on the 24th fret of the E string as well. So we don't have the black and white nature to guide us on the guitar, and we actually get the same note in different places on the guitar. And that's why, if I wanted to play an octave between E all those are the same notes, but they appear in different places on the guitar, and that kind of adds to some of the confusion that people have on the guitar, because first of all, while the pitch distances may remain the same, the physical distances are different, and in your mind, if you don't calibrate that the right way, then you're never really going to get a solid handle on the guitar fretboard. Now, a cool way that I like to think of this is like on a piano. If you think of it like a game of chess, you're kind of like a rook, except you can only move in straight lines from left to right on the piano. But on the guitar, it's more like you're the queen. Not only can you move from left to right on one string, but you can also jump across strings and you can play it the different shapes in a multiple different ways and patterns. So playing the guitar, you're not really limited to the left and right nature, kind of like when you do, you play checkers. Instead, it's more multi-dimensional, like you're playing chess with a queen, right? And what I want to show you now is really just how you can go in and in your brain make the right calibration so that you can really understand how the neck works together. And that's really the reason this chess versus checkers, why people have a hard time really navigating the guitar neck, because they're playing with a approach of playing checkers when instead you need to know the rules of chess and really having understanding of all the different ways in which you can play a scale or an interval. So for example, on the piano, if I want to go from this E to that E, and I want to do that in a major scale, I'll have to do it like this: E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. But on the guitar, I can do it like this: E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Or I can do this. So as you can see, that is now, instead of just having the one way to play from left to right, I have all these other ways in which I can play the exact same scale, where the pitch distances remain the same, but the physical distances and also the direction, whether it was up or down, left or right, all of these were playing more in that fashion like you would have a queen moving around on a chessboard. Now, to truly master this, I would like you to consider calibrating your brain a little bit. It's much like tuning an F1 race car. Like before the race, every tire, the suspension, the brakes, everything is dialed in for optimal performance. And if something is out there, the car can go ahead and spin out and crash in a high-speed corner, for example. And in the same way, not having the calibration in your brain set up the right way is going to really limit the knowledge that you have of the fretboard. By knowing it inside out, it will actually help you avoid some of these musical mistakes so that you can go ahead and play with confidence. So why get this right? Well, there are three big reasons. First of all, it's going to really clear the fretboard fog that you might have, and it's going to reveal all the different patterns on the fretboard, where to find them. And secondly, it's going to give you more control, letting you move between the notes without missing a beat in all the different directions. And then finally, it will allow you to let your creativity shine through, which will help you to come up with new sounds and riffs without being limited by not really understanding how the fretboard works. So with that said, let's go ahead and deconstruct a couple of things on the guitar. Now, for example, I want you to think of it like this. If you look at a big skyscraper, from the outside, it might just look like a very big building. But when you really get into the details and you see every beam and every bolt, then you can see the true architectural genius that goes into building a building. Now, recognizing intervals on the guitar and the intervals that exist within a chord, it's much like understanding those foundational architectural principles. And with that knowledge, you're not just able to blindly grab chords, but you're actually understanding, the inner workings of the intervals within the specific chords. And therefore, you'd be able to construct and compose some guitar parts that really feel solid and moves your listeners because you have that command of the instrument. So let's go ahead and deconstruct a couple of things on the guitar right now, just so that you can see how the same thing exists in different places. And hopefully this intervallic approach when it comes to chords and triads and even scales will help you to see how the construction of these chords and scale shapes is really the same thing, but just shown to you in different ways. Okay, so let's just get a quick couple of different elements in place. First of all, if I move from one fret on the guitar, that's known as a semitone. Right, that's a semitone. When I put 2 frets together, that's going to give me a tone. So those are our first 2 building blocks, which is 1 semitone is 1 fret, and a tone is 2 frets. So now if I take this pattern, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So we have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's going to be a major scale. Alright, so you can take any note on the guitar and then play that pattern that I've just given you, and that's going to result into the major scale. Now, what happens if I combine a tone and a semitone? Well, 2 plus 1 is 3. That's going to give me, for example, E to G, because it's E, and then 1, 2, 3, it's G. That's my 3 frets higher, and this is what we call a minor third. So first we have a semitone, like B to C, or E to F, just 1 fret. Then we have a tone like C to D or D to E, which is 2 frets. And then we also have a minor third, which is 3 frets, E to G. Now what happens if we have 2 tones together? Well, that's going to end up becoming 4 frets. So for example, C to E, that is what we call a major third. It's 4 frets. C, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's our 4th building block. So we had a semitone, we had a tone, we had a minor third, and we have a major third. 1 fret, 2 frets, 3 frets, 4 frets. The last one I'm going to show you for this video is 5 frets, which will give us what we call a perfect 4th. And as you can see, that's my C note, and then I have my frets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which gives me a perfect 4th. So with these building blocks that you now understand, which is a minor second, it's a semitone, 1 fret. A major second, which is a tone, 2 frets. A minor third, which is 3 frets. It's a tone plus a semitone. And then a major third, which is 4 frets, which is 2 tones. And then a major, or what we call a perfect 4th, which is 5 frets. Now this might all sound like Greek, but what I'm going to show now is some cool things that you can learn on the guitar to kind of calibrate and take care of the calibration like I mentioned, so that when you play scales or shapes in different parts of the guitar neck, it's no longer just shape based, but you understand that intervallic make up what you are doing. All right, so let's check this out. If you look at a C triad, and if I play this, for example, over here, that's a C triad, C, E, G. But what happens is I have my root note, I'm going to go up a major third, which is 4 frets, then a minor third, which is 3 frets, then a perfect 4th, which is 5 frets. So what we've got, I start on my root, upper major third, 4 frets. Upper minor third, 3 frets. Upper perfect fourth, 5 frets. So check this out. I'm stacking it like this. C, upper major third, upper minor third, upper perfect fourth. And that right there gives me or, etc. So that is stacking it in thirds. A major third, followed by a minor third, followed by a perfect fourth. Now what about a minor triad? Well, it's just flipped. So now I'm going to start on my root. I'm going to have a minor third, followed by a major third, followed by the perfect fourth. Give me a C minor triad. Now what's happening here is it's actually a very simple concept, so much so that it might feel like it's a bit tricky to understand. But in essence, all I'm doing is I'm stacking thirds in a way here, which is a major triad is a major third, a minor third, a perfect fourth. And then a C minor chord is a minor third, followed by a major third, and then a perfect fourth. So what this will now do for you is it will show you the intervallic makeup between the notes. And now it's up to you to actually go ahead and then learn, well, how do I play these same interval shapes across different strings? Because here I'm doing it on one string. So you might want to do that on 2 strings. Or 3 strings. Or it's all the same thing in terms of pitch distance, but now it's actually showing you there's the same pitch distance from a C to an E or a C to an E. Those are both major thirds, or C to E or C to E. Then you know no longer are these just 2 unrelated notes, but you're actually seeing that both of those are major thirds. And if you want to look at a minor third like C to E flat, which is 3 frets, anybody can understand the distance of 3 frets, but then what does that look like between 2 strings? It just shows you how to play that. And in essence, there's only a handful of ways in which you're going to do C to E flat. It's on 1 string, or it's on 2 strings, like between the strings 6 and 5, strings 5 and 4. But when I go from string 3 and 2, it's a little bit different. It's no longer that shape, it's this shape. And then we are back to the 2 frets distance over there. So either on 1 string, 3 frets, or 2 strings between strings 6 and 5, it's 2 frets. 5 and 4, 4 and 3, or 2 and 1. It's the distance of 2 frets, or in the one place where it's different, between the G and the B strings, it's only 1 fret. And that's how you can see 3 frets, 2 frets across 2 strings, or 1 fret across the G and B strings. And once you have that dialed in, you just kind of work on that a little bit, then you can see what does the major second look like in different places. 2 frets like that, or in this case C to D. You just got to learn and calibrate those in. And then what does a minor third look like, which I've just shown you, and a major third. In this case, it'll be 4 frets. Or between 2 strings like this, it's 1 fret. And what's interesting here, between strings 5 and 4, it's the same shape as between strings 3 and 2. But here it's a minor, there it's a major. So if you want to play a major here, it's actually on the same fret. So 4 frets up is the same as that. Or it's going to be 1 fret difference. Hopefully this kind of gives you a few insights when it comes to understanding the layout of the fretboard, that shows you these different relationships, the same pitch difference, but it's actually a different physical distance depending on where you play it on the fretboard. You might want to watch this video a couple of times just to get all these ideas to really sink in, because it's kind of foreign when we have these contradicting ideas of physical distances together with the pitch differences. Now, if you want a PDF that lists all these musical intervals, the scales and the triads, go ahead and check out the description for a link. Just tell me where to send it and I'll send this PDF your way so you can actually grasp all of the sonic gems and melodic treasures waiting to be discovered on the fretboard once you make this calibration and see all the different combinations in which you can play these essential intervals, which will then allow you to not only make scales but to make chords. And when you understand that and you can go ahead and apply that in a musical way, the notes and the melodies and the progressions and everything in a play, it's going to sound so much more musical because it's going to be grounded in the fundamental elements of music. So there you go, the link is in the description, and if you're looking for an explanation of how to play more melodically using the combination of chord tones and non-chord tones, we've got a video for you right here that talks about the melodic language of music. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.